settle in here and talk about Let's Kill Hitler, why don't we? Okay, the episode was ridiculous. I just watched it a third time too. I just finished my third watch about 3 minutes ago, and oh my god, it's so... I'm just, it's not a bad episode. It's not boring. Certainly. I am disappointed, just to get out of the way, I am disappointed with the way the Mills plotline was handled, how they introduced that character, and basically retconned, I think that's the correct use of that term, retconned her into Rory and Amy's past. I know that happens sometimes, but for such a significant character, and for such an ongoing plot, you know, not just the plot of Rory and Amy's baby, but of River Song completely, you know, starting in the 4th series, when we met her in the library. For such a long character arc, sort of, even though we're going somewhat backwards and all around in River's life, for such a significant recurring character, it's really disappointing to me that the introduction of the Mills character who grew up with Amy and Rory was so out of nowhere. They plopped it in one episode with no foreshadowing or you know, little clues in previous episodes, or no seeding at all. And you know, this is a show that can do that. This is, even just thinking of the first couple seasons and the way they dropped, you know, Bad Wolf references and the Vote Saxon posters and the Torchwood things into like every or almost every episode of each series leading up to the finales where that actually came to pass. For a show that has done things like that and can really do it effectively, like, I didn't notice those little mentions the first time I was watching, or even probably the second time. I think I had to have someone point it out to me to even notice all the Bad Wolf mentions. We've gotten to have the clues for the long arcs before, and River Song is a pretty long arc, but so, yeah. Anyway, it was not a bad episode, but the first time, like, I can't even stop giggling when I think about it, because it's, the first time I watched it, it was just so weird. You know, it's just so jam-packed full of stuff, and most of it's not that important, like the robot person with a lot of little people inside controlling it. You know, that was interesting, but ultimately it wasn't important and didn't, like, get any real story. It's just it was just another thing that's in the episode, but it didn't seem really significant once you finish the episode. And there's so much of that, and you know, that's what Hitler himself was. You know, it's just another thing in this episode. And it seemed, especially the first time I watched it back on Sunday, it seemed like it was just like a farce of Doctor Who. But I have to admit, I loved Alex Kingston's newly regenerated form, and how enthusiastic and insane she seemed, and it was lovely. I loved the taking in a bunch of bullets and just like laughing at all the Nazi guys, and her going to the gay gypsy bar mitzvah for the disabled. I just remember, you know, after she took in all those bullets and said don't shoot a girl when she's regenerating, and did that sort of like wavy arm move as the regeneration-y light came out of her, came out of her limbs and things. It was a great sort of I'm a maniacal psychopath maneuver there. And it really, the way she regenerated reminded me so much of the Master in Utopia. Just her stance whenever she was going from Mel's to River Song. Even though I think the Ninth Doctor, I guess, and definitely the 10th Doctor, whenever he didn't regenerate, but whenever he siphoned it off into his spare hand, I think they had the same stance too. But I think Mel's is closer to the Master than the Doctor, at least in Let's Kill Hitler, because she has that great combination of, psycho and terribly charismatic and enthusiastic and kind of adorable, which is how I found the Sim Master. So I feel like they tried to answer too many questions, except a lot of the questions were questions I didn't care about, so so it was gonna be lost on me anyway, or not lost on me, but not all that important to me. It just really seemed unnecessary for them to try to, plop in so much stuff about River into this one episode. We have all this space. We first met her 4 years ago, right? I don't know when things happened. It's a 6th series, and that was the 4th series, and we had that little year in between, so 3 years ago, I guess. And yeah, I'm just we've had this character, we've known this character for several years now, the fans have, and you're trying to throw all this information in one go, in one 40-something minute episode, and it's just calm down, sit down, take a drink of water,